Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to share my LASIK experience today. I know it's a little different than my other videos, but I had somebody actually ask me through my Instagram about how my experience was. They wanted more information on it. So I thought that was actually a good idea to share, just because I know for me, when I was looking up information on LASIK, I honestly went to YouTube directly because I wanted to hear people's stories and how it worked out for them. So just a disclaimer, I am not a professional at all when it comes to this stuff, obviously. So I always recommend consulting a doctor. They're always going to give you the best recommendation based on you and your health and your background. So definitely consult a doctor first. I just want to share my experience and how it went for me. I'm going to split this up into 4 sections. The first one will be my background of my eyesight. The second will be research on how I decided to do LASIK. Third will be the actual surgery itself and everything that happened afterwards. And then fourth will be my final review of my LASIK surgery because it's been 1 year since I've gotten it. Let's start off with my background. My eyesight has always been very bad. I started wearing glasses when I was in 1st grade and I had to wear them all the time since then. Every year, I remember every time I would go to the eye doctor, my prescription would get worse. So it was definitely a big issue for me. I used to have really high astigmatism and slightly myopia on one of my eyes. Sorry, I don't know how to say that word. So just to give you an idea of what my prescription was right before the surgery, my right eye was negative 5.5 and my left eye was negative 6. Now, that's really, really high, like super high. It's mostly because of the astigmatism, and then my left eye is higher because I have I used to have 0.5 myopia, and that was partly part of the reason why I decided to look into LASIK, because I knew that there was a restriction, at least that I knew of. So from my research that I found was that there's a limit of how high they can treat your eyes based on your prescription, and I believe the mark when I went to see my regular eye doctor is -7. So I was definitely almost to that point, and I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to risk my eyesight getting worse if I waited another year, or that I wouldn't be eligible, or the results wouldn't be as great if my prescription was at a high. So that was a big reason why I looked into LASIK when I did. One thing about my eyesight is that because my prescription is so high, I can only wear glasses. I can't wear regular soft contact lenses because they don't exist in my prescription. I have to get the GDP lenses in order for me to even see, or get a combination of hard lenses and soft lenses. And those are super expensive. They're over $400. You don't get refills like you do with soft lenses. You can only buy one and it lasts you a year, and then you have to get them again. So it's just, you end up wasting more money if you get contact lenses for my type of prescription. So that's another reason why I decided to get LASIK. So that's my eyesight. It was really, really bad. I couldn't drive without glasses. I couldn't read without glasses. I couldn't do anything without my glasses. I was very dependent on them. I didn't wear them all the time when I should have, which is partly why maybe my eyesight got worse, because I didn't wear them all the time. But either way, they was so bad that I just hated it. I will say that, it's not necessary for you to get LASIK. You can definitely wear glasses all the time. It's totally fine. Just for me, and based on how I felt, I really wanted LASIK because I just saw it as a hindrance. So moving on to the second part. My research. So I think it's really important to research your doctors around your area. It's really important to research on the procedures themselves and to really get advice from people who have gotten LASIK already. That was the way that I found my LASIK doctor. I had coworkers who had gotten LASIK surgery done, and I asked them, hey, how was it? How was your recovery? Do you recommend this doctor? That's how I mainly did my research. I checked the things like what LASIK surgeons there were around my area, but I mostly relied on reference. The place that they referenced me to was Lasik Plus, I believe they have a ton of offices across the United States, so each doctor is different, of course, that provides service. And I'll leave the doctor that I went to below just in case you're interested in going to the same one. So now moving forward to the part that you guys are probably all waiting for is my actual experience. I'm going to start from the consultation all the way to post-op. And I'm going to be looking off of my phone for some stuff. I made sure to write some things down, that way I wouldn't forget. After I got the reference from Lasik Plus, I went ahead and booked a free consultation with them, which Lasik Plus offers. That way they can figure out whether you're eligible or not. So I went ahead and booked that online. When I was booking that online, there was a section where it said if you were referenced by anybody, so I went ahead and put in my coworker's name. When you go into the office, they're able to see everything you filled out. So they'll see that you referenced somebody, and it's always good to mention it just in case. That way you can get a discount. Maybe. It just depends on the office. I went, it was really busy. I got an email saying that to be prepared to be there for 2 hours, I believe. So make sure you carve out some time because you never know. Once they called my name, they ran all these tests on me. I don't even know what tests they were. And from there, they went ahead and sat me at a table. So they told me I was eligible, and they told me that it would cost a certain amount. They told me that I was eligible for the regular LASIK surgery. They went ahead and gave me a discount for the reference, and she actually gave me an extra discount for liking their Facebook page. Definitely look for deals. They'll do like specials. Well, they'll have discount days or discount months, and definitely look into that. I asked them whether it was possible if they had any payment options, and they do actually. I was able to apply for a credit card. Now I know this isn't possible for everybody, not everybody is eligible for a credit card, but fortunately for me, I was able to apply for the credit card to cover most of the costs. The credit card that you apply for is called Care Credit, and they have a special financing plan with LASIK where you get to choose which one you want to do. So the one I chose was no interest for 1 year, and you pay back the whole amount within that year, and if you don't, then the interest goes to regular percentage once the 1 year is up. For me, I knew that I'd be able to pay off the surgery pretty fast because I had some money coming in to cover it. So I went ahead and did that. So that helps a lot. So definitely look into that option, or ask your local LASIK if they have any financing options. That way you don't have to pay for it all at once. After telling me the price, and when they sat me down at the table, they told me to come in for part 2 of a consultation. Now I don't think this is what happened with me, so I don't know if this happens with every single consultation. So I did. I went in for my second consultation and actually met with an eye doctor directly. She had me retake some tests that they had done on me during the first consultation, and when she looked at my eyes like a regular eye doctor does, she actually told me that it was better for me to get the PRK LASIK surgery instead of the regular LASIK surgery. To be honest, I'm not really sure why. When she told me that, I was kind of like, man, because the difference is that with regular LASIK, you have a faster recovery time. Usually they tell you you can go back to work the next day. But with PRK LASIK, it takes like a week for you to recover to the point where you can go back to your normal activity. After that, they went ahead and they booked me the surgery actually. I went ahead and booked it for the 18th of January, and I waited, and I was actually really excited to get it done. I was just happy in general that I was eligible for it in the first place. They did tell me that, you know, it isn't guaranteed that based on my prescription that was so high that I would get to 20/20, so that was something to keep in mind. It would lower it a significant amount, but it wasn't guaranteed, and I decided to take that risk. Now getting into the day of the surgery, you have to have somebody drive you. I had somebody drive me. Suddenly I blink and open my eye, and there would be black patches. We were in the waiting room for a little bit, and what's really cool, which I liked about my particular LASIK office, was that they do the surgeries right there in front of you. So they have like this glass panel, and you can see the machines inside, and I guess that day was surgery day because there was people getting surgeries like one after the other. So while I was waiting to get my surgery done, I could see how people walked in, they went under the machine, and I saw the surgeon like zap each of their eyes and then them coming back out. Like, it's really cool because they're very transparent of how it's done. I waited there for a while. Then when they were prepping me, they took me into an office. The surgeon came and met me. He talked to me about the procedure, what would happen, and then he asked me if I had any questions. So I really liked that. Even though it's probably routine for him and he was obviously doing one after the other, I appreciated that he took the time to come and sit with me and really answer any questions that I had. Once I didn't have any more questions, he was like, all right, I'll see you soon. So the assistant comes in and she puts in some eye drops, which numbs your eyes. So you sit there for a little and it numbs your eyes, and your eyes kind of feel heavy, if that makes any sense. It's painless, it doesn't hurt or anything, it's just your eyes get kind of heavy. And then from there, once it's your turn, they tell you, okay, Esther, let's go. You walk into the surgery room where everybody can see you on the other side. This is really hard to explain. Okay, so they have you lie down under the laser, and the surgeon walks you through the whole thing the whole time that it's happening. Because your eyes are numb, you honestly can't feel anything. So you lie under the laser, they put these like prongs in your eyes to keep it open, that way you don't blink. And then from there, they tell you to look at a particular light. Either it's like green or red or something, and you just look at it consistently. Now with my eye surgery, because I got the PRK eye surgery, I didn't have a blackout moment, which I know happens during the regular LASIK. For me, that didn't happen. So I was looking at the light, and then they're like, okay, you're done, and then they squirt like cold water in my eye and do I don't know what, and then they move on to the next eye. And then they do the same thing, put the prong in your eye, they put you under the laser, you look at it, and squirt cold water after it's done, and that's it. And I was under the laser for probably less than 5 minutes, and I didn't feel a thing. But the coolest part was that once the surgery was done and I got up, and they gave me some sunglasses, I put them on, and I could see perfectly. It was so weird. Like, I saw results the minute I got up from under the machine. So from there, I just got driven home, and during I believe it was during my second consult, they had given me a kit already that included my prescriptions that I needed to get from the pharmacy. I bought the moisture relief drops from them, which you don't have to get from them. It's just regular water drops that are like sterile. You can get these at Target. Like, they come in a pack of like 120. It also included this, I have the thing. It's a generic Tylenol PM, 1,000 milligrams. And what's funny is, like, I didn't know this was in there. Like, they went over the prescription, they went over the teardrops, and they told me I had to buy like a night cream to put in my eye, which I'll get into a little later. But they didn't tell me this was in there, and I had heard about this. I had friends tell me that they took a Tylenol PM. That way they just slept the whole time, and by the time you wake up, your eyes don't hurt as much. And they didn't tell me that was in there, so I thought maybe I didn't need it. And it wasn't until a couple months later when I emptied out that bag that I found it. So it still has the pill in there. I wish I had known about it, because I'll tell you what happened on the day that I was supposed to take this. But yeah, so I got driven home, and I already knew everything I had to do for post-op. They gave me a little sheet that told me my eye drop schedule. I'm pretty sure I had 2 different eye drops that I had to use, and then the teardrops, and then the eye cream, and then I also had to take vitamin C every day. So it was a pretty heavy eye drop schedule. So once I got home, I made sure to put on my alarms for my eye drop schedules, and I just kind of chilled. I mean, I was so hyped up that I could see everything that I was wearing my sunglasses the whole time, like the scary sunglasses. And I was just doing regular stuff. I was really trying not to watch TV or do anything on my phone or anything like that, just in case. My eyes didn't hurt at all. I was completely fine. I wrote a song on the guitar. Like, I was acting normal. It wasn't until literally right at 12 a.m. My surgery was on a Thursday, right when it hit midnight, and it was Friday, my eyes started burning. It felt like as if somebody was scratching my eye and my eyes wouldn't stop tearing. Like, it was constantly tearing. And I'll put in a video here to show you how much it was tearing, and my eyes were swollen. And it really hurt to open my eye to look at lights or anything. And that day was the most painful. It was actually the only day that was painful. When I would tear, when water would accumulate in my eye, it would burn. So it sucked because I couldn't stop tearing, and the tears would cause my eyes to burn. So it was like, oh man. And then on top of that, I have to be on top of my eye drop schedule, so I had to force myself to like put the eye drops in even though my eyes were burning. And I would say my pain level, I mean, based on me, I really don't know if I have a high pain tolerance or not. I haven't been through enough pain for me to like compare pains, but for me, based off how I feel pain, I would say out of 10, it was probably like a 7.5, 8, I guess. Maybe like a 7, I would say. It wasn't like so painful that I was crying because it was, I mean, I was crying technically, but it wasn't the type of pain where I would cry because I'm in so much pain. I was just uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, you know how you're like, I just want to lay down and just not do anything? That's how I was all day. So that Friday, I just was completely unfunctional. And that's why I wish I had seen this in the bag, because if I had taken this, I think that night, I would have slept all day that Friday. Would have only had to wake up during my eye drops, and it was hard for me to fall asleep because it was just a burning sensation, so I couldn't sleep because I was uncomfortable. But that was the only day I experienced pain. My recovery time was a week. Once that day was over, I was fine the next couple days. And I kept wearing my sunglasses, and I had a checkup. Got my LASIK surgery on a Thursday the 18th. I had experienced pain only the 19th, which was that Friday, and I had a checkup, which they usually do 3 to 4 days after your surgery, on that Monday the 22nd. And they just check to see everything's going well. I was already, what's it called? 1520. I had 1520 vision, and I was already seeing really well. And yeah, so that was Monday. I still had 3 more days until I could go back to work. So I went back to work like normal, and everything was good. I was able to work like normal, and I was amazed by how amazing my eyesight was. Let me start getting into the symptoms I experienced, like long-term symptoms. So this is over the past year. I'll go over each symptom and I'll tell you how long they lasted. Let's start off with the symptoms that were the most temporary. Something that I only had, I think, the second week. The second week right after surgery, which kind of freaked me out. I think it happened to me twice. Was like, imagine you're looking at a picture and there's black splotches, so you only see certain things. I didn't ask my doctor about it because it happened after my checkup, and I knew that if it kept going on, of course I was going to go back and tell them. But it only happened to me twice and never happened again. One, I saw like halo lights, and you'll probably see that a lot of people have this after their LASIK surgery. So basically what that means is once you start driving, after you're able to, you start driving around, and at night, like the traffic lights or the lights that light up the streets, they have halos around them, so it looks like it has a beam. So it can mess up your vision, like what you're looking at, because everything's a lot brighter than it actually is. So I experienced that not too long. I think it lasted for about a month, and then it went away. The other one was sun sensitivity. They tell you to wear sunglasses all the time, like as much as you can, especially the first year. I was super sensitive to it during the first month as well, during the same time as the halo lights at night. So some of the symptoms that lasted, I would say, up until probably November of that year, was one, fluctuation in my vision. Right after my surgery, my vision was really well, and as the months went by, I noticed that it would get a little worse, and then it would get better, and then it would get worse. Like it was very inconsistent. Now, of course, it was a lot better than how my vision was before, so it never went super bad like it was before, but I did notice that like one day I could read something across the room, and then some days it was a little blurry. When you go in for your checkups, they take that into account. And I'll talk about my checkups in a little bit. The second symptom that I still experience now is I get dry eyes. I mean, they tell you have to use these drops as much as you can right after your surgery and as often as you can. And they have you put the night cream, it's like basically like Vaseline, and put it in your lid so that when you sleep and you wake up, your eyes aren't like stuck to each other. Night cream you only have to use for a certain amount of time until they tell you can stop. But these drops, they want you to use as much as you can for as long as you can. And I still use them till now. Now, it doesn't happen all the time. My dry eyes did get better over time. I didn't have to use it every day. I think I stopped using it around, let me see. I stopped using it like every day, probably around June, but I do still have to use it now, especially when I'm on the computer or I'm on my phone a lot or anything technological or watching TV. My eyes get really dry really easily. So those were my only symptoms for me and my experience with PRK surgery. Another thing to know is that I had 6 checkups after my surgery, and usually you only have 3, but I think for me, since my prescription was so high and my vision was fluctuating so much, they had me come back more times than other people, I guess. I had that checkup that was that Monday on the 22nd. Then my next checkup was in February, and then my next checkup was in April, and then my next checkup was in May, and after that it was in June, and then my last checkup was in October. And during those checkups, that's where she would tell me to adjust my eye drop schedule, where she would tell me to keep using my teardrops, and she would tell me to keep drinking my vitamin C, and she let me know when to stop putting the night cream on. So it was in those checkups she would tell me what to do, so I did everything according to what she said. And it wasn't until October she told me that my vision was 20/20, and my vision was 15/20, 20/20. It would fluctuate throughout those months, but it wasn't until October where she told me that I was 20/20, looking with both eyes. Individually, my right eye is already 20/20, and my left eye at the time was 15/20. She told me my eyes were healing very well. I didn't have to go back anymore for a checkup because it was doing great. She said the only reason I would have to go back is if I had any concerns or if I noticed that my eyesight would get worse, which is, common to happen with age. So that's the heavy part of this video, which was the whole surgery part and my post-op. So now moving on to the final review of my surgery after 1 year. And I can honestly say I don't regret it one bit. I think it's changed my life. I am able to do anything I want without having to rely on wearing glasses or having to worry that they're gonna fall off. Even when I'm traveling, I don't have to worry about my glasses broken while I'm hiking a volcano, or relying that I have to wear them and not be able to see the beautiful landmarks that are in those countries that I visit. So it's been a huge life-changing decision that I made that has been nothing but positive, but I do think it's worth going to consult a doctor with. You should at least see if you're eligible, and then from there you can decide. But for me, it was the best decision I've ever made. So I haven't worn my glasses since the day of my surgery because I haven't needed them, and they're in this little case here. So I decided it'd be funny for me to wear them. This is a reaction of somebody who has 20/20 vision wearing my old prescription. These are my glasses. Let's see if you can see how bad they are. Do you see that? Look at my face. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's see how I react. This is gonna feel good. You know how like you have those friends that have perfect vision and they put on your glasses and they're like, oh my gosh, how can you see without these? That's how I'm gonna feel now, but with my own prescription. Alright, let's do this. Oh my gosh. Everything is so blurry. Oh my gosh, it hurts to look through these. Whoa, my prescription was so high, man. Whoa. This is why it's worth it. Oh wow, this is hurting my eyes. Oh wow. That really messed up my vision now. Now I know how my friends used to feel. Guys, it's worth it. Definitely look into it, consult a doctor, see if it's the right choice for you. But for me, it was a great decision. I don't need them anymore. That's so nice to say. Alright. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you out. Definitely feel free to comment any questions you have and I'll answer those down below. Thank you for watching. You guys have a great week and yeah, see you soon.